Listen, we ain't gonna do too much talking.
Turn the volume up.
Turn the volume up. It's me and Fab. I'm going first.
You already know that. Nice round hips, yeah, plus you got a throwback. I just want to let her get acquainted with my bows. After that.
Welcome to Late Breakfast. I'm Tori and B.
I'm First Class Reg.
We have Fabolous, everybody. Now I'm just we have LA from What's a Good Guy. We have Cleverly Chloe live from Dallas, Texas. And we have my man Comfy Cozy. What's going on, y'all? All right, I'm glad to see y'all. You know, we got the usual suspects. We got James, we got Felix, we got Rob, Problematic Rob. So we just gonna get things going right away. We saw the Verzuz battle between Fabolous and Jadakiss. It took us all back to our childhoods for everybody in our age group. Watching it last night, and then I watched it on Apple Music, you know, so I really got to see it. I didn't get the cut off. I got to see the whole thing. Seeing Jadakiss drunk was something that I didn't expect because he started out saying,
I'm a little intoxicated.
Yeah, but he really went there. So, you know, I got y'all here because I couldn't wait to talk tonight. So, like, what are y'all opening thoughts? Like, who needs to go first? Let's keep it to a you know, let's try to keep it down to a minute because it's a lot of us in here. So who's up first?
I'm one day.
I'll take it. I'm closest to youngers, and since Jadakiss won, you know what I mean? Jada won. He bodied it. I think everybody thought that the R&B hip hop raps that Fab had was really gonna overtake it, but I think the streets is what Jadakiss has always been known for. He has a core audience with the music that he has, and he has a niche audience, and he proved it. I think Fabolous went in overconfident, as per usual, and got his ass handed to him.
Watch him out.
I don't think Fabolous was kid. I don't think he went in overconfident, bro.
Fab don't give a fuck.
Yeah, he didn't look like he cared.
I was just there so I didn't get fined.
Yo.
The way he was performing his records.
Listen, LA, you over here dressed like the man. What was your opinion? You're a Brooklyn native. How's Brooklyn doing right now?
We all right because we still got Big and J, so we all right. We all right. We'll forever be all right. But I say that one thing. These battles are really showing that these guys don't know their own catalog.
Yes,
it's horrible, bro. It's horrible. Like, there's so many records Fab didn't play. They were allowed to play certain mixtape records. He played Lituation, I think, or one of those records. Which one was it? Ball Drop, right? It was one of those. It was one of those.
Yeah, it was Ball Drop for sure.
It was one of those records where it's like, and Fab proved to me personally that he is really good at having trending topic raps. So a lot of his songs that he played don't age well because it's for the time. He has a lot of moment records, and they didn't last at all. They aged really poorly, and that's because he transitioned to a stage where, like, his raps became quotables from memes and tweets.
Yeah.
And yeah, for those moments, it's hot, you know? But then when we all move on and grow from it, his music hasn't grown with it. Neither has his fashion, but
Jadakiss still dresses like he's 17.
First of all, Jadakiss looked like the freshest
Fab.
in the box. First of all,
he was rocking that fashion over men, you know?
He had on Stone Island. Don't do that. It was Stone Island. Don't do that.
He had on Stone Island. That was a real, like, he was dressed like my pops last night, to be honest with you. Like, uptown niggas, that's how they get down. They wear one bright ass color, especially brown skin, and they get.
Don't put that on us. Don't
put that on
us.
Rob, you ain't
I'm from uptown. Don't put that on us.
You're not from uptown, aren't you? From Brooklyn?
I'm from the Bronx, bro. Relax.
Rob, you ain't
Relax, bro.
Relax. Nah, you gotta embrace your Brooklynness, bro.
I asked them; they never heard of you.
I'm from the Bronx, bro.
Nobody else knows you, Rob.
I want to piggyback off of what LA said, because I think that's true to understand in terms of like where we're at in our senior years of being rap fans, and how we've had to learn how to compartmentalize and categorize the different subcategories of rap. I think even though Jada and Fab are like from our same time, they were in different genres, even though they were still making music during the same time. Like Fab is gonna give you those quotables. He's gonna give you the trendy commercial shit that's gonna go on a soundtrack maybe, and then Jada's gonna play to the hood that you go home to, right, and bring the nostalgia back, right? So there's certain people we look to for certain shit, and I think if Fab had played more to that and played his own race instead of kind of jumping all over again, and I don't know what the fuck Booth was doing, but I think like Jada gets us on that nostalgia. You know, we're able to go back, like as soon as you hear fuck the frail shit, it takes you back to that time. You know what I mean? Whereas certain moments of Fabs, you don't want to remember like La Marina when shit got shot up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Another
so
thing.
I think that just kind of like it was just a kind of a mixed match in terms of genre, but I still love them both together. I don't care.
I think that speaks to the caliber of their pen and why how Jada's his content still lasts. Like there's a lot of Jada verses still go, whereas like you said, Fab is time. But it also goes to the fact of a lot of times people forget all the stuff Jada did for other people. And Jada didn't get heavy in the bag like I thought he was gonna, because a lot of people in this verses have gotten into their, I wrote this bag and you didn't know, which he kind of did with when he dropped Victory. Yeah. And like a lot of people didn't know he wrote that verse for Diddy. A lot of people don't know, you know, like he's been the pen behind a lot of hits in the 90s and the early 2000s. And I think if he would have gotten into that bag, it would have been even worse for Fab.
I have a whole different outlook on this whole shit.
Go ahead, Felix.
That's a whole different outlook on everything.
There you go.
Different one.
Felix, what you got, man?
So I came into the battle unbiased, completely unbiased, because to me, Fab and Jada are the first two New York City failures in terms of expectation. So we had, we had Biggie, we had Jay, we had Nas, we had DMX, and somewhere down the line, New York got really lost. And the beginning of that trend is Fabolous and Jada.
I agree with that.
Their expectation was super high. They both don't have a classic album. It was just underwhelming in terms of career.
I would say Method Man.
Yeah, also Method Man. He's in there too. That's that first.
And Bleak.
Bleak. Nobody.
Bleak. Don't let.
Rockefeller had high expectations. We knew it was up.
Well, Santana is what Bleak was supposed to be. Yeah, he still had a better career.
But no, I think right now, like I think Memphis Bleak is a lot. I guarantee you, Joel Santana will want to be in Memphis Bleak shoes rather than Memphis Bleak being in Joel Santana.
I mean, because he's in jail.
Hold on,
also throw more albums.
Let's not get off that. Felix was still saying.
Felix,
sorry.
Yeah, so coming into this unbiased, of course, like not a lot of rappers, but some of the more tenured rappers, narrowing down their career to 20 songs is going to look really, really good. And I didn't think it was going to be a bad battle because they have so many hits and so much contribution. So I came into this unbiased, and it's kind of disgusting how much Fab doesn't care about Fab.
Doesn't care.
Doesn't care himself, so it's hard for anyone else to care about him.
Damn, how you know he don't care about him?
Because the DJ will play better songs.
There was my fault, Cozy. Go ahead.
So personally, I do feel as though. So I didn't watch the battle, right? I don't watch it for a lot of different reasons, but I find Jada and Fab to both be like underwhelming. I think they have a couple standout, some good records, solid albums. But I think overall, branding them as two of New York's biggest failures in the past 20 years. I just kind of had an issue like divulging my attention to 20 songs from them when I can barely, like, from each of them, I struggle with 10, like from either one of them, right? That's just my personal opinion, right? But I think that piggybacking off what Felix said about Fab didn't really care about his career. What his last album was in 2009, like, and then since then, Low Soul's Way it sent ripples. It kind of was it was supposed to be the beginning of something else, but the something else never came. It never happened. Low Soul's Way 2 was teased in 2012, again in 2015. We're in 2020, about to go into 2021. And up until this point, we only have a couple mixtapes. Soul Tape series is notable. Summertime Shootout series is notable. But I think, but I think
never came out.
Let me fit. Huh?
Loso's Way 2 never came out.
Loso's Way 2 never came out. Loso's Way, honestly, Loso's Way set him up because it was a transition from like it was like bubblegum, like what Chloe said about the catchy commercial shit. He did have a couple of those records, but then you saw him begin to like transition into more mature content. And then you started him kind of getting on that New York gritty shit because remember, he had a Scarface kind of Al Pacino type of thematic vibe to it. So you saw him beginning to transition into the New York gritty shit, but he never finished that project out. It was supposed to be a 3-part series, right? And we didn't even get to part 2. So it's kind of like he doesn't care. Like, and so I can understand how someone could have a difficult time like really taking him seriously because bro, like where's this classic album that you've been promising us for a long time? We've been giving J-Elect how much grief until he gave us his debut project, quote unquote. And Fab and we still giving him grief after that. I don't know why, but we still giving him grief after that. Fab doesn't really get the same smoke, but that's because people don't care. People don't care what Fab drops.
Just to that,
can I chime in on that point?
Go ahead.
I think where Jadakiss and Fab both kind of took the back seat, they didn't really have that machine behind them to give them that full run, especially towards the locks later, the ending of the Bad Boy stint. It was kind of hard for them to pivot. When Fab finally got to Def Jam, Jay was out. You know, he gave him he gave me that throwaway single, When the Money Goes, and then he retired. And then the money
goes,
Honey Stays.
It's called Gray Skies.
You know what I'm saying? I just think that
I wholeheartedly disagree with that.
Let him finish.
I don't think they were ever like priority number one on any situation that they've ever been to get that dedicated focus, because I feel like Jadakiss has been able to prove that he can make these records, but the money behind it. If you ever hear like Jada speak, especially on Drink Champs, he'll always talk about like the money wasn't there. His budget was always tapped into. He never got that full attention and love. And I think that's important to also say, because you could be as talented as hell, but if you're not getting to the masses or the markets or in certain positions to be in the forefront, people aren't going to see you. So yeah, in New York, we acknowledge him as one of the best. But as far as the stardom goes, it is a lot of money behind that, you know.
All right, Reg, you go, and then Danny, and then I wanted to chime in. Go ahead.
Well, I just to clarify what you were saying, well, not to clarify, but to kind of add on to that, I think Fab and Jada they definitely got the recognition that they needed. Like, to see what Jada was doing back in like 2001 when Kiss the Game Goodbye came out.
Mm-hmm.
He was on like every mixtape. He was on every feature. He had the hottest single on the radio.
That would be like his closest thing to a classic, right? After that,
Kiss the Game Goodbye.
Yeah.
Nah, the Last Kiss is the closest thing to a classic.
Okay.
Well, but no, it was his biggest moment by far. It was his biggest moment as a solo rapper, him coming out with that first album.
Mm-hmm.
And then Fab came out the same day as Hove, and still got respectable numbers on 9/11. He still put up respectable numbers. So it's like, I think it's all about. The reason why I used to group them up together was because their career paths were kind of similar. Like, they came up in the mixtape circuit and they kind of had their respective crews and they did their own thing. But I wouldn't say that they didn't get the recognition that they needed. They had that and then some. Like, and they had the streets. Fab in particular just didn't do what he needed to do with it.
Yeah, but I think Fab literally came out and everybody saw him in the whole 18 movement. He was obviously set up to be the star with that. He had one of the hottest DJs in New York behind him. In the country, period. Clue, everybody knew who Clue was.
Clue should have been DJ yesterday.
I agree. He should have DJ'd both sides.
Yeah.
Now you have Jada. Jada literally, everybody was looking for Jada. There was a time where literally people were saying top 5 dead or alive. There's a time also he had a mixtape run that the only person who came and cleaned him up that mixtape run where he was feature run rather, not mixtape run, was Wayne. Prior to Wayne, Jadakiss was the go-to feature that everybody was trying to get at one point. And then on top of that, Hove went out of his way when he signed to The Rock to make him a clear staple of The Rock. And Jada didn't do anything with it. I think Jada is too comfy being on label situations. When you listen to Drink Champs, when you listen to them discuss it, Styles always says, he wants to go independent. Sheik wants to go independent. I think Jada's just fucking lazy. I think he doesn't want to put the footwork in himself. I think he's used to being taken care of in the way that 90s labels took care of it, and doesn't understand that hasn't worked for the last 10 years. And he just doesn't want to put the footwork in or the money behind himself. I think if he really believed in his legend and who he is the way we do, that he would have put his own money up and been on a much higher level than he is, or leaving the game. And I still think there's enough respect he has that people give him a chance. If we were to put out another album, I don't think it'd do anything. But, people give it a listen. I don't know why people were hyped for that Freddie versus Jason shit, but people loved that shit, and I don't get it in any way, shape, or form.
I enjoyed that shit, bro. I'm sorry.
That shit
I don't get
trash.
it. No, I don't get
it. It was
it.
Jadakiss versus featuring Fab.
So last night, what we learned is artists don't know how to arrange their own music. I think Jadakiss did a way better job than Fabolous did. And I think that was pretty obvious. And we saw Jadakiss have an amazing time and probably boost up sales for Deuce Day and Ciroc while he was at it, right?
Oh man. In capsule form. I want to take them shit.
Right. So we just had Eli and Julius just joining late. Do you guys want to say anything before we wrap up this topic?
Nope. I'm good.
Julius.
So
what up?
So
okay, cool.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm good. I enjoyed that.
So I just have a quick question for Reg, right? And this so do we all believe that Jadakiss' biggest moment throughout his career was 2001 Kiss the Game Goodbye? Like, is that what we jacking?
Believe that.
I don't think so.
So did we forget? But did we forget that?
Why?
Did we forget that? Why? Like, and I think that's going back to what LA said about Kiss not having a machine behind him. He had one of the biggest songs of that year. Like, it just comes down to whether he can craft a hit or not. That really, to me, what it comes down to. Can he craft a hit? He's been known to do that, but the issue is that he hasn't done it consistently, and he hasn't done it consistently throughout his career. He's had some great moments, some huge moments, so the potential is there, but he hasn't necessarily lived up to that potential either. And then my second point is that, so do we not have a problem with the fact that we're highlighting Fab in the verses, even with Fab's history? Like, where does that play out right now? Does that not
like I should have on Fab all night and all week? I said,
Wait, what are we talking about?
I think it was very mixed emotions. What history you talking about? Like beating women and like knocking their teeth out. Right. You talk about it if you want.
Yeah.
It was a lot of mixed emotions, and a lot of people were talking about it on the timeline. But clearly, there's a bias.
So I want to hear. Wait, I think I want to hear from Chloe on this. I just want to, I think I want to hear from Chloe on this and just see, like, because she's the woman that we have here, and just see her thoughts.
I might not be the right woman, but
okay, there we go.
You know what it is?
I think it's important. It's important.
You know what it is? Obviously, and we've been having this battle for the past couple of years with trying to separate the music or the art from the person, right? Obviously, there's no in between. But there's a huge gray area when it comes to our community, what we will not tolerate. And there's sometimes the double standard. It's interesting to me that sometimes physical violence gets more of a brush over than the sexual predators and those people in that side of the industry that women have to battle every day. For me, it's a hurtful place because y'all, if you know me, you know I love Fab to death, right? But at the same time, am I going to harbor something over him that his now wife has not? Like, she married this man after the fact. Okay? So at the same time, do we give people room to evolve? At the same time, were we there? Do we know the story? No. Right? Do I condone men hitting women? Absolutely fucking not. You get your fucking face knocked and I have a father and I have brothers. But at the same time, maybe who he is today is remorseful. Has he ever come out and said anything? No. But at the end of the day, Fab has been private for years. He didn't even start acknowledging this girl until she was on a fucking TV show crying that he didn't acknowledge her. So you can't expect people to have those type of conversations if they've never done it before. I think that's also been where the disconnect is with Fab and why we can't feel like we want to grow with him, because he doesn't let us in that way. It's all very surface level with him. Like, unlike we have people like Jay and other artists who will literally admit their faults and wrongs on track, and we're like, yeah, we're growing with you as a man. It comes with those friends that you have to compartmentalize. Do you take them at surface value, or do you know who your party friends are? You know who your deep friends are. I think we may have to start doing that, or you can choose to just not enjoy the music. Period.
Not engage, right?
I had a very important conversation with my therapist about that, right? And because
I've had you that stressed out.
Nah, that loss had me tripping, bro.
Did you take Fab with you? Did y'all talk about him beating women?
No. But all jokes aside, it was in the midst of the conversation of like protecting our women that's been going on since the quarantine, and I asked her about it, and I was like, "What happens to the women we protect, but they go back to their abuser?" And it's like, it's all, protect Black women, protect our women, this, that, and the third. But what happens when we step in and they still go back to their abuser? And then she said, well, it's up for the woman to always make that decision. We can't force her hand. We can only support and hope. But it's something that Emily or whoever has dealt with, if she can look him and forgive him. I mean, I'm culture based. I believe in forgiveness. So if she forgave him, then who am I to hold that over? Hopefully it never happens again. And if it does, we will still be there to protect. But if that is not called for, then we're only overexerting energy that's because in their home it's all peace, love, and happiness. So why should it disrupt us? And
so we think.
Hey, Chloe.
Yeah, so we think. Yeah,
Chloe.
We don't know.
Are we picking and choosing? Are we picking and choosing, or are we just going to agree with this set? Forgive this, and then we're going to run with it. Or are we going to pick and choose?
It's always Julius. It's always been pick and choose, no matter what.
But that's been the problem. The problem is that we are picking and choosing who we allow to denigrate and to disrespect, and that's the problem. Like, there's not. It's across the board. Like, you have to begin to hold not just ourselves as individuals, but also these rappers and these actors and these musicians and these politicians that we place up on a pedestal. And when they do things, we like, oh well, so and so forgave them, so it's cool. And it's like, no, like, okay, cool. In his personal life, I can rock with that. But me personally, I was embarrassed for Brooklyn when those videos circulated. I was embarrassed for Brooklyn to know that he had battered this woman like this. So in Fab, and like you, Chloe, I love Fab. Fab coming out like he was a star, right? He was somebody that, we always rooted behind. It was always Big J. Fab was like right there, like somebody that we wanted to win. And that was a big L, like for him. And I can never listen to his music the same. I can never respect him as a man the same, and giving him my attention. And I don't judge anybody that watched the battle. I don't judge or so say like, look, where are your morals or anything like that. But I just know as a man personally, to me, I'm not giving that man my attention. I don't respect that man. How am I going to respect you as a rapper and your artistry and your craft? And I don't even respect you as a human being.
Yeah.
Well, to that point, Chloe, can I ask you something?
Sure.
Do you think the conversation would be different with Fab if Emily had daughters instead of sons?
She does have a daughter.
She does have a daughter, bro.
100%.
I think that responsibility.
This is the thing. We have to, and I think since 2020 started, and I'm glad. I hate to say I'm glad, but I'm glad we've had people expose themselves even further this year in terms of celebrities. We've got to take celebrities off of that fucking pedestal. They are people. They are not gods, right? And if you take them at face value for what they are and who they are, you can choose to support and not to support. Like, at this point in my life, I don't ever choose to support anybody whose morals don't align with my values. But at the same time, they're people. I don't hold them to the same regard that I do my spiritual leader. I think because we're fans of the art and we've grown up with it, it's like hip hop is our cousin. It's the person we grew up with. So we want everybody that is involved in this to rock with the same moral compass. But at the end of the day, people are flawed as fuck. So once we remove that, if you choose not to support somebody because you don't like what they've done in their personal life, that's your prerogative. Do that. And at the same time, again, of course, we need to protect our Black women as much as we can, as much as they are asking for help and not asking for help. But we still have to let people grow and make their own decisions, right? We can't tell anybody what to do. Like, Kosi, I respect your opinion 100%. I agree 100 wholeheartedly. But we've got to start looking at these motherfuckers as regular people because a lot of shit that they do in their real life, we would never do, and we don't agree with.
That's a fact.
And if we
do we blame the media?
Behind closed doors, we probably wouldn't have a music industry. We probably wouldn't talk to anybody.
Rob is
do we blame the media? Because
let me tell you why, Rob.
We're all here, right? We're all here we're all here as media personalities. We all are respected in our craft among our
not at that level yet.
At most high. When this whole Fabolous situation happened, you could see how New York media, hip hop media especially, treated Fab like a media darling. They didn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. Nobody wanted to talk about this issue.
Not at all.
Martinez walked away from it. Joe Budden didn't want to talk about it. Power 105 didn't want to talk about it. High 97 didn't want to talk about it.
Because his affiliations run so deep with them. Those relationships run so deep. It's like taboo. But we have to start holding those people accountable. If you're going to cover it, we got to talk about everything. We can't pick and choose what we cover and what we don't. But at the same time, celebrity gossip should not be the pivotal point of our news day. We have so many other things to focus on. And if these niggas are trash in real life, it's going to come out. Their karma is going to come. It's going to come. You can't hide who you are for that long. At the end of the day, look, see, it took how long for shit to come out?
And I think to Kozi's point, like we all have an individual choice on whether we're going to support going forward. So that like, and that's another thing my therapist said, like, supporting our Black women is more than just the physical aspect. So if we all stand by Emily and say, yeah, you took him back, but I'm never streaming that nigga music again, then that's support as well. If we make sure that we hold...
Is it, if that's now her husband and she has children by this man and that's how they eat and provide, is that...
Yeah, because in the sense of...
But my thing is, maybe they took that situation, and again, we don't know. Maybe it took that situation for him to look at himself and be like, damn, I'm really out here wilding and disrespecting the woman I love, the queen that I love. Maybe it took that for him to see, like, I really hit rock bottom, and maybe it took that for him to change himself. Like, again, like we'll never know. We'll never know until she comes out and tells...
I'm sorry. In situations like this, right, like Chloe said, Emily forgave him, right? And she wants to work things to her family. I understand there's a such thing as Stockholm syndrome. But let's be optimistic and say like maybe everything is like good between them now. Right. And like moving forward, like there's never ever anything like this again. And like I'm not saying like obviously I'm not saying what Fab did is okay, but what I'm just saying is just that like if Emily decided to give him another chance, like do we still like hold him to the fire, even though like they're trying to move on with their marriage? And they're having a child together, a daughter at that.
I think what made it so difficult to reconcile was the fact that, as someone mentioned, it felt so swept underneath the carpet. So nobody really spoke about it or really, I guess, quote unquote, aired it out. We were just kind of, okay, this shit happened, and what now? So you know, when people say stuff like, oh, you know, she took him back, so what can we do? It's like, I mean, okay, that's fine and dandy, but nothing was really said about the situation.
Had that footage never come out, you would have never had an opinion one way or another, and you would still have lived your life the same way. And I'm not saying it's okay. Like again, we all know we don't agree with how that situation played out. My thing is, if we'd have never saw it, I think the age of social media and phones and all that stuff, there's lives that niggas led back in the day in the music industry. We had no idea they were living foul and crazy what they was doing. And people now...
Yeah,
okay. Hold on, Rob. Oh, my bad. Felix, go ahead. And then I want Q to go. He just joined.
I think it's important to like just separate the art, right? So we can have conversations about morality of people, but I think it's always been important to just value the art. So whatever Fabolous made that I support isn't me supporting Fabolous as a person. It's not me supporting him as a person now. It's not me supporting him as a person then. So to me, I think it's very important to have both conversations, but the same way you support other people through art, you kind of support yourself from the same art. So if you can separate the politics and the art, then you can have art as an expression that you enjoy and kind of comment on the political side of people as people. So to me, it's like I don't have I don't think anyone. I like that everyone is coming to terms of not saying that if you support a person, you support whatever action they've made. And to me, it's like we got to stick to holding people accountable and appreciating creation.
I think that's a great end.
Okay, so YoQ just joined, and I just wanted to hear him talk about the Verzuz battle, but I know it kind of took a turn. But I just wanted to hear Q's thought on the Verzuz battle. You know, him and James are both our DJs, so I just wanted to hear a critique on what he thought about last night, and then if he wants, he can chime in on Fabous's domestic violence situation, and then we can move on to the next topic.
Yeah, y'all can hear me? Y'all can hear me? Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, you loud and clear, baby.
Oh, I was just making sure, what's up, first and foremost, what's going on?
The Saved by the Bell set. See.
Film.
That's a good BBC background. I see you, Ken.
I'm out here. Black lives still matter through all this. You see the vibes, you see the energy. We here. We got to make it work. You feel me? I love what's happening. First and foremost, as y'all can tell from my hat already, y'all know who I was caping for that battle. I didn't expect that battle to go the way that it did. I think Jadakiss played it very smart. That's one. He outsmarted Fabolous, because I think everybody saw what they were talking about as far as Fab got all of this, Fab got traded all, Fab got that, Fab got the new shit. So Jada played to his strength. He like, well, I got that shit too. It's not as new, but it's still hot. So I think he said, fuck combating the R&B record with another R&B record. I'm gonna just go at his throat and play some crazy shit. Feel me? So I think Jadakiss really played that battle well, and I'm happy at the turnout, as you can see. So we out here, Rough Riders. You feel me? I'm a Harlem nigga. Don't get it twisted.
It really is.
I fuck with Jadakiss heavy, man. I fuck with Jada. My mind was blown when I found out that he wrote the victory verse for Puff.
I thought we all knew that, though.
Yeah, I thought that was a well-known thing.
So now we all knew somebody wrote the shit, but we didn't know who wrote it. I thought that was some Murder Mace shit, to be honest.
Nah, because I remember Biggie asked Styles and Jada and Mace to write a rap for him for More Money, More Problems. And I believe Styles won, and Biggie rapped what Styles wrote for him for Money, More Problems.
I thought it was Mace for More Money, More Problems. That's why I thought it was Mace on the More Money, More Problems.
I thought it was Styles, but I could be wrong. But I know it was the three of them. Like, they had to write the best rap for him. He was like, yo, which one of y'all is the nicest? Who's gonna write me the best rap? And
you don't hear Mace rhyming that though? You don't hear Mace rhyming that victory?
Yeah. The sun don't shine forever. That sounded like some pretty
no. That sounded like straight. Once I originally thought it was Mace, but once I heard it was Jada. Like, if you listen to it,
it makes sense now.
That's like, you're like, oh,
absolutely makes sense.
Oh,
absolutely.
But
I agree.
That was cool. Okay.
With these Ghostwriter stories, when you find out who wrote it, you kind of wish you could have heard it through that person's voice. Like,
absolutely.
Knowing that Jadakiss wrote Victory, like I wish I could have. Whoever has the original records, I wish somebody would leak that shit.
I really like the fact that all this ghostwriting shit is coming out, because a lot of people nowadays don't know that like ghostwriting is so commonplace. And it happens all the time. It's not just
Puff wasn't writing his shit.
Nah, for sure. But when
Puff was not writing none of that shit.
Oh no, of course. But the casual rap listener is like, oh, everybody writes their own shit except.
But when it comes to Puff and his raps, you always curious to know who wrote what. Like when I found out King Los had a lot of writing credits on like The Last Train, I was like, wait, hold on, like
on Money Maker Mitch too.
Yeah, like you have this potential, but Puff is spitting it.
I mean, I appreciate the outfit though.
Thank you, brother.
The Laker joint with the band. I appreciate that. That was a good. That was an iconic scene.
The bandana stays with me at all times, man. I keep telling y'all that.
That's a good look. It's a good look. I like what's happening.
Right. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Tori and B.
And I'm First Class Rage.
We'll catch you guys next time.
Holla back, youngin'. Whoop, whoop.